We have really amazing panelists and quite extensive topics to cover. So without further ado, I would like to go to the first topic of our panel, which is bridging the gap between business and technology. And let me start with a short look into the past. In an article published in Harvard Business Review in 2013, so exactly 10 years ago, on the gap between business and technology, so the topic of the first point, the following concerns were raised, and I will make a quote here. So, IT complains that it doesn't have a seat at the table and no one understands how difficult the job is. The business complains that IT doesn't understand the business, consistently overpromises and underdelivers, and slows innovation. And the usual calls for IT to get closer to the business only exacerbate the situation. So, in your opinion, have the challenges of the business and IT cooperation from 10 years ago, have they been solved? And I would like to ask Davor for the first take.
That's very, let's say, old problem, but it's still persisting in banks in general. It's true, yeah. Business is considering IT too slow. IT is considering business, yeah, I don't know, sometimes too arrogant or doesn't understand each other. And truth is, actually, both of them are right. Banks are, in my experience now, more than a decade in the industry, have still the understanding of the IT like, a dormant service or something like that. They are expecting, IT to take care about, I don't know, building infrastructure whatsoever. They definitely, most of the people in business still do not consider IT eye-to-eye partner. That's the fact. On the other hand, well, the situation in a banking, especially in the IT industry, as the top IT companies are now actually on the top of the Fortune 500 lists, these guys are able to attract even more the best talents, and ITs in the banks are really not top of the pops. On the other hand, there is also on the IT side too much focus on IT itself, and frankly, not many people on the IT side. And here, sometimes I also have to say, we had situations with some vendors who were coming with the solutions which they thought are perfect for banks, simply didn't fit, right? So there was, on the IT side, also certain lack of understanding of the specifics of the banking industry and what exactly banks would need. Now, bringing them closer together is obviously something that is necessary. Question is, how much closer, and, if we are just sitting at the same table but still have the same opinion about each other, it will not help too much. So obviously, banks need to understand that, well, IT is not anymore just infrastructure or whatsoever. It's much more. It's actually, it powers today's economy completely. On the other hand, well, IT also has to do quite a lot of effort to understand what banking business really is, because you can't build the solutions for banking without understanding.
And even you were sharing quite interesting insights about how to cooperate efficiently, how to motivate, and how to get feedback. So what would be your take on the IT versus business cooperation?
Sure. So I'm witnessing actually every day how jointly business and IT make progress. It's very important that we evolve in all these changes that are coming around us on the same way, because as I said, it's not something that is linear and that is just we can cope independently. We need actually to understand the changes on the both sides. That I do not split the world on business and IT. For me, the world is one, and if we have the same goal, we need to understand, for sure, respecting the expertise from the IT side, but the business is not anymore detached of understanding what is the impact of some requirements. They need actually to understand how this requirement actually needs to be implemented, how long it takes, what is the cost at the end, to decide whether we would like to go with this implementation. So, and yes, transformation is going on. It's not everywhere the same. So I just during the lunch had talk with colleagues also from the Raiffeisen group. They are doing actually transformation. So there are still some spots where we need to work together and to jointly actually discuss our challenges.
Talking about transformation, so in the last 10 years, also banks change methodology of working and methodology, IT methodology from waterfall to agile. And I wanted to ask if you see long-term measurable benefits from this transformation, and if you can share some insights from your organization. I think you've done really a fantastic job both in Raiffeisen and group.
So I will take this for the beginning. It's actually amazing what is happening in respect first the long-term outcomes. We are seeing time to market much faster. In this respect, we are also gaining that we are not talking about something that will change very soon and that it's even not seen within outcomes. So this is one biggest advantage also on the long run. What we do also on the stakeholder level, if you are having the continuous deployment, so you are making the steps visible, but with the customer centric, so customer is visible also in those results. So on the long run, we are also gaining the trustful environment that is supporting digital transformation, because when we do not understand, we act from the fear, and this actually disturb dynamics among us. At the end, we have to have the same understanding, and yes, we have to build up among ourselves the trust that whatever we do, we are doing together and gaining the results which are visible as soon as possible. So this is my view.
I would just add, actually, today we had quite a lot of discussions about cybersecurity, general resilience, adaptability, and so on. I don't like to talk about, we are switching from waterfall to agile. We are in the world which is, changing faster than the budgeting and planning cycle. Simple as that. So if we are planning our projects and activities and everything in those cycles of 1 year, so even worse, I led core banking project transformations, which took 3 to 5 years sometimes. I mean, you're not adaptable. I mean, until the time you finish the project, world looks completely different, and half of your project practically doesn't make sense anymore. So it is important that everybody understand that, well, those changes, we have to simply catch up with them. We have to understand that whatever we are planning, we need to change our plans very often, very rapid, sometimes completely, and we need to build capabilities for that. Agile methodologies are helping that. However, it is only one of the tools which are helping you manage those changes and volatility and whatsoever. Important that you have skilled people who are able to cope with that, but also to deliver. Because if you don't have them, I mean, you can do your nice scrums and procedure, but nothing comes out of it.
Okay, so we touched the topic of match between business and IT. So now let's look ahead at the next point. What technologies bank need to adapt today to win the competition of tomorrow? And do they differ between retail and corporate? And maybe we can look at this point from two perspectives. On one hand, from a technologies perspective. So what technologies you see emerging on the market that have the potential to impact banking industry, but also from the business perspective. So how will the new approach to customers, the new generations of customers, new customers' journeys be created, and what would be the channels that would be most attractive? And here, George, if you could share your perspective on retail, I would be grateful.
Of course, I'll try to be short. What I believe is that there will not be any dramatical technology that will change what we know today. The most important, I think, the next years is how everyone will apply it, how everyone will try to fit it in his service, in his customer journey. I think this is the most important part of, I mean, we're not waiting something totally that we don't know. So this is one part. The other part is, yes, we're trying to be human-centric, as we said. We're trying to put things that we believe the customer has a big value. And of course, especially for the new customers, the new generation, it has to be very easygoing. They don't want a lot of things. They don't want to do a lot of steps in the flow. I think this is clear for everyone. So yeah, I think this is the direction. And of course, details in between. Every organization and every bank has to strategical decide what to do on that.
And yeah, how does it look from corporate perspective?
In my opinion, also in the corporate world, there are the movements. So like we are having a huge hype right now also with artificial intelligence and the things how they can contribute actually to digital transformation. What is surprisingly here, but not well, I would say, explored, and also we didn't put that much attention still, is virtual reality, so that we are doing the even remotely some experience for the customers. We saw from Comarch a presentation yesterday that we can create the videos, but we have available technology like virtual reality, which is already there, that we can have the branches and we can also communicate remotely, but to experience actually and feel those communication like in reality. Still, I think this is a new thing. Maybe it's something that we have to work on this hardware, because it's not easy to handle it for the business operations. But for example, for the gamers, I'm a passionate one. I see it also like for the first time you are experiencing the things, and this is bringing the different dimension and feeling about the things, and also we can speed up the learnings of people, because when you experience, you bring also the things differently to your brain. So this is my opinion.
So I would like to join for a moment, because I think that I would ask this question a little bit different. So I wouldn't ask like what kind of the new technologies could change us, but actually what technologies you think you can really absorb that you are changed. Because if you would sit here 10 years ago, I can imagine would have maybe a little bit different set of the buzzwords like virtual. Right now AI is very important, big data was there. And of course, if you reflect over this 10 years, I'm not saying everybody, because I don't know every bank which is represented here, but I will tell only on behalf of banks I know. Nobody introduced nothing. Because I don't treat introducing something like, okay, we have something somewhere and we created one virtual something that nobody is using. So I haven't seen any technology over the last 10 years that really had impact on bank. Not because there were no technology that could have impact on bank, but because the biggest problem in the banking organization is like we are incapable to absorb these technologies and put it to work. We are coming from conferences, we see it, we even have idea, inspirations, we even put it on strategies as a board. And then it's like dies on a desert. So if I would be in your shoes, guys, which are not easy shoes, I used to have these shoes, so not like I'm smart guy telling you like obvious things. I would rather focus not on the most sexy technologies, but on the technologies that are really feeling there is a chance to get absorption. And if there is be any technological change that you can address, I would select one, and would be using cloud-based software as a service. And I will tell you why. Because like my biggest eye-opener moving the bank, like say startup environment, was seeing that the guys with the budget of $500 get, for example, CRM that like salespeople in bank would die to have. They don't even imagine they can have half of the functionality, speed, and flexibility that this has. And why it happened? It happens because like before we're having so-called economic of scale. So we're a large organization, so we could afford millions on IT, while the small guys could like afford $500. And what came? It's sharing economy. And these guys are like sharing the software with the environment of thousands of companies that have like budgets that even JP Morgan cannot afford anywhere. So for $500, they can have a CRM that actually you spending or I was spending millions, I couldn't get. And that's actually not something that will kill you because other competitors cannot do this as well. So it's not like you have to do this tomorrow. But if you can change one thing, it's like break a little bit the wall because the wall is there and allow people to start to use software as a service, which like, it's not a money problem. I think you can afford $500 or $1,000. The technology is so ultra cheap and the guys even will give it to you for free for 1 year because everybody gives it for free. You don't need any budgets for that. You don't need any talented people because talented people are already in these companies. They sit in California and they develop it for you. Yeah, these are really things you don't have sophisticated people to handle because like the startup of 10 people can handle it. They even have custom it. You know, like the guys in the startup, like 24 years, 25 years, they're not IT literate. You know, to make integration, the most difficult thing. Like you go to Zapier and like they integrate systems. I was really like almost shocked how easy it is to just create an interface on Zapier and connect like big Microsoft machine to like a big HubSpot machine like within 1 hour. Only if you know what you do and you understand your data that actually what you want to achieve. So just finishing it's like forget about technology. Start to consume what lies for peanuts and everybody else is using it. And you will have the effect.
Thank you for giving this different perspective on how we could actually tackle this topic. So we moved from technology to people in a way. So the next topic to discuss is actually the topic of people. Digitalization is helping to keep employees motivated. We're still focusing on the banks for the moment. And the question would be, do you believe that digital tools can actually motivate your employees? And if so, which areas needs technological improvement most in your opinion? And this question I would, Branimira, address to you first.
Okay. So the motivation, it's come from their self. So it can't motivate somebody if he or she don't want. So in the bank branches, it's that's what I would like to say that in all the area you can't motivate somebody when she or he is in the organization. So in the first step, you have to know that this employee is informed for all for the future of the banking, and he wants to be in that future. I mean, he would like to feel the strategy of digitalization. He would like to be customer service oriented, and this is if they are informed well, the motivation is it's coming from their self. Digitalization for the team is it's helping to keep and to make some stuff more easier for them. They can keep some routine tasks. They can have some more time for speaking with the with customers and give their advices. The future of the bank branches is the information for everything that they have to about that. And I would like to say that nobody can be motivated without if mm, um,
Can you share
something.
your view on how it works within your organization, how you efficiently motivate your IT team? You mentioned that it can be sometimes a challenge.
On one hand, new technologies and everything gives new opportunities. Let's put it simply like that. It gives chance to people who, especially now, if we are talking about technologies like low coding and stuff like that, it gives possibility to somebody who maybe doesn't have the technical background to play with toys, let's say, which they didn't have the access before or maybe couldn't. And this is giving them a chance to further develop their careers and so on. This is one thing. The other thing is that looking at how technology progresses, how many jobs are getting automatized. Most of jobs that are getting automatized, frankly, these are not too many humans do want to do anyway. Which, well, maybe for somebody who, I don't know, is maybe unpolitely saying not capable of something better is a threat. But again, it gives the opportunity for them to move to topics or tasks which might be more interesting, where they could work maybe directly with the clients or in some different areas and so on. And of course, adoption of technology doesn't happen overnight. It takes years somehow. Ivan explained well, how the team is growing, how everybody is, if they are having enough time to work together, to focus on certain topics, how they are getting more knowledge about practically individually and as a team growing together. This is giving people, I would say, some confidence that, well, as the things are evolving, well, they will not be left behind. Of course, assuming that they do jump on that train, that they continue learning and they do work together on the topics.
Maybe to add here, I would also say that digitalization brought to the banks that we are not dealing anymore with task management. So it's about management of responsibilities. It's about giving empowerment to the people that they explore. So by giving them a vote and justification why they need to do this, they're also getting this spin of motivation to understand that they can contribute and they can also be part of the direct implementation of some strategy element. For sure, it depends of this leadership team whether all the messages and vision are provided to them and that they are not overstepping, because we are working with the experts. So experts do not need explanation to do the things, but rather what to do. So, and this is the difference that we are during the digitalization experience, and this is something what brings motivated people to you and keep the talents with you, because they are growing with you and they are also exploring the new things which are bringing them also security for the future, that they are not losing the track from the environment, and that even there is no work at the bank anymore, they can contribute to our society at the end in that respect. That would be my view.
Yeah, thank you. Amazing. So now let's maybe touch the topic of branches. George, you already shared your opinion about how to be modern and how to digital branches in an innovative way. If you could explain a little bit more how you see it, and what other maybe strategies can be applied to make the branches even more human and digital at the same time.
Okay, I think on that we said quite a lot of things. We showed things. There are more things to be done. The real question in the beginning was, do we need branches in the future? I think we answered that. I mean, it's very clear. But there is a super answer that came up in the lunch discussion we had, which Christina was very nice and important idea. Because discussing also with Mario, I see him there. The super answer is Revolut is ready to open branches. Revolut branches. So I think this gives the answer that yes, branches will be there. They have to be very digital, innovative, very friendly. Customer journeys will be part of what the competitive advantage you have, but they will always be an important channel.
I just want to add that why we need branches. I think that we can't continue without. You know why? Because digitalization must have some channel for the opportunity for distribution to digitalization, and also the future of the branches will be yes, digitalizing world and premium service, because yes, all the customers can do by themselves everything, but if they're going the branches, they need some personal advice. They go there for to speak with somebody. So that's why, and also the sales are not come from the product. They come from from the employees, from personality, from somebody who has personal touch with the customers. They don't came from the product. That's why a lot of digital banking, they try to make back their branches again, because if they have only digital solutions, the sales are but smaller than the distribution which we can have in the branches.
Sorry, before you comment. Yes, 100%, but there is another thing very important for the branches. It's that they are part of the trust issue for the customers. When they see the branch, they know that the organization, they have their money, is there, is beside them. So it's also part of the culture. Human people want to have a trust place that they know that it exists.
Actually, like, I agree with all of you. Just I would like us to only get a little bit different perspective. So I think the banking is the only industry that put equal to digitalization equals self-service. I have never seen it in other industries. It's like nobody actually out of banking industry thinks that once they digitalize, their clients will start to not interact with other people, but they will actually start to self-service themselves. So if I could recommend something for you, like make this line like digitalization doesn't equal self-service. If you take actually our private digitalization, so the biggest issue of our tool of our digitalization is that we spend on average 6 hours a day on this device. 85% we spend in WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, when we interact with other people. So the biggest success stories about the digitalization is about using digital tools and means to interact with other people. So like it would be super, super strange that banking is the only place like you digitalize, and then because you digitalize, people want to interact with machine instead of the people. Yeah, that's okay. It can happen because like we are sophisticated human beings, and maybe that's exemption, but usually it's not. And then The next thing that I would like a little bit like you to reflect on is a branch. Like I come from the bank which was internet only. We were called branch killers. We have mBank has like 160 branches. We would never call them branches. You know, this is like the place we offer our service, being self-service, being human service, the same way like we do in internet, we do on telephone, we do on chat. For us, the branch is like this organism you put somewhere. You put ATM that nobody wants to use ATM in this branch, and you see the team with the branch manager. So you create this micro world with like, you know, group of people. They join the branch because one day they will become branch manager, and that's going to be their property. That's a branch for us, yeah. And I think this branch is gone. This concept of the branches is gone, at least in majority of the market. It's gone for one particular reason. It's not that many people, I mean employees, that want to join this because it was very effective. You just put it there. The people were bringing money, and I even was talking to the PKBP guy saying like, there's the biggest Polish state-owned. Now we have to kill the branch. I say, why you kill the branch which is profitable? Because it doesn't make sense. Client doesn't come there. You know, there is a group of people there. They are organized. Clients are happy. They leave you the money. The fact that you don't understand how it works, I don't understand how it works, doesn't mean that we should touch it. Like I cannot build it from the scratch. That's why I not do this. But once you have this asset, keep it as long as you can. So as long as these guys bring money magically without even clients, because they put a counting system, nobody was coming to the branch anymore. Yeah, it's like when you manage your branches, do you have really how many clients come, where they go, how much they stay? If you don't have it, you don't manage the branch with like this kind of like hands-on kind of stuff. And of course, people don't do. Why would they? Should they? There is a group of people like they make your clients happy and they bring the profit in the client. You shouldn't touch it. But this kind of branch, I said it's the end because like I don't know anybody, and I never in banking who has an idea how to continue this model. So everybody has it, and you can like a little bit try to just keep it as long as you have it. But as to the like would say Revolut will open the branches like mBank has. So you will have a flagships on the shopping malls, on the biggest high traffic zones. You will see that they are there, and it's exactly what you said. Like we never did it to make profit. We make it to just do a marketing concept. So put into our clients visibility, and our way to just put our branches is like, where is the place the biggest number of our clients will see us weekly? Yeah, and at the end of the day, we have 10% of infrastructure in Warsaw, and according to clients, we are like second bank in terms of coverage because they see us, and like you know, if you are on the only a group of people will see you, and what you will do with people there, with clients coming there, it very much depends on what clients you have, what you will do. It's like, but like the concepts are different. That putting everything under one umbrella of saying, yeah, do you need branch or you don't need branches? It's like you would say, do you need shops or you don't need shops? It's like shops also have evaluated, right?
Just want to add something. The customers which still use branches and they will always use, they feel like community. They feel like community because they want to go in the branch. They trust the people in front of them. They want to speak. They want to interact. They want to feel. This is energy. It's mm, it's more than just device. The future have to keep it. I'm sure that everybody knows.
I would just like to offer potential explanation. It's my theory only. I mean, it's not true. Why there is this between digitalization and self-service is because in banking, at least as I was observing it, if you want to get the money funding for the project, of course, there is one of the most important criteria is how much money we are investing. So how much money we are gaining. Since nobody in the banking was able to imagine actually what are we gaining actually with digitalization, then the next obvious choice is, okay, so how much we're saving? And in that case, okay, if we are introducing technology which is kind of replacing workforce, so how many less people we need? So how many less people we need in branches? If we need less people in branches, do we go? And this was actually the line of thought which put this equation sign between self-service and digitalization, which I fully agree with you. It's completely wrong. It makes no sense. But in I would dare to say rather bureaucratized way how the investment internally in the banking is done, well, probably it went to that wrong street.
That was quite really interesting. I would just one topic very briefly because it somehow refers to the outsourcing that Jarosław mentioned, to software as a service. The topic about the view of the future of back office. So from our perspective as Comarch, we work with some clients in the Middle East, and they do not have back office departments and IT solutions in selected area already. So at here, I'm talking about private banking departments who, for example, outsource bookkeeping of their customers' assets. So do you see this possibility to happening also in Europe? And yeah, do you see this trend impacting back office, but generally in near or longer term future?
Before I answer this question, I would also like you to reflect about some sort of also simplification. Outsourcing, it means to give to third party something which is your core business. You're not outsourcing to electricity power plant production of electricity. You just buy the service. And we very often use the word outsourcing for the service. It's not core banking stuff. So if you actually go and buy a payroll service, you buy service, like you buy electricity, you buy water, whatever you buy. You rent your office building. Because outsourcing and all the complication that starts with outsourcing start when actually you do something that you, or even worse, the regulatory, identify as a core banking activity, which means that when you give it to somebody, you give part of your organism. And it's very limited part of the services really we do in-house, yeah? And as to the outsourcing, I think outsourcing will not fly for one particular reason, for two particular reasons in Europe. Number one, VAT is we have this famous or infamous business case. VAT is killing every business case because say, wow, we have this cost, but if they do the same, they have to put VAT on that. So how they can be cheaper? Okay, they will do this with less people, etc. Maybe quality is going to be worse. And it starts, and it starts. So as long as you cannot have VAT deducted, it's very difficult. In Poland, practically, I haven't seen even middle-sized company which is doing in-house payroll. Like bookkeeping, punching all of the invoices, maybe some, last Mohicans are doing it in-house, yeah? So but it's easy for them because VAT usually is deductible for them. Number two is lots of things comes in the banking based on how many FTEs you have in your area. And people say, no, it's important. We have responsibilities. We have that. And then you have all of these guys who evaluate your positions. And the first thing is they're asking what's your span of control? How you manage your span of control, especially in back office? Wow, number of people. So the more people you have, the more important you are. The higher you are, and then your salary is justified more. And so we say it's not important, but then actually we do everything to convince these people it's ultra important when we evaluate their positions. Then number two, when you get a bonus budget, usually get it by the number of people, but nobody say you have to give to everybody. So more people you have, we call you keep employment as sandwiches. You don't need these people, but you keep them just to take the bonus and give to other people, be more important, etc. So there is no even a single interest in the middle management to decrease the FTEs and move it outside. they could do this if they are forced because it's cheaper. But VAT kills the story. So that's why I think it's like beginning and the end of outsourcing, buying services in the banking sector in Europe.
I would maybe comment it from a different perspective. I mean, I was working with back office quite a lot and then also analyzing a lot. The thing is the following: there is a lot of discussion about outsourcing, meaning back office, as you said. I mean, it's big, it's whatever, expensive. Let's outsource it to kind of make it cheaper. And again, we are in discussion of costs and savings and whatsoever. However, the more interesting question for me is what is the actually reason why back offices exists? Because if you are looking at the banking business, most of the activities are related to sales and the products and whatsoever. And if you are looking at typical bankers, their work ends when they sell a product, when they sell a loan and everything what is done. However, then somebody needs to work it out, meaning ensure that money is really dispersed, that this loan is contract and everything is in the system, so they can calculate interest whatsoever, and they actually throw it away over the wall to back office. So back office is handling the rest of the work which practically bank didn't want to do. Historically, it grow because the number of products grow, the complexity grow, and whatsoever, and consequently also this team above the wall who is handling the rest of the work was growing. However, we are now living in the 2023 when processes are hopefully properly digitalized, not digitalized with putting documents back and forth, but if the data is properly done, you have less and less need for somebody to work out the less, because if it's properly done in the systems, if it's properly all the data captured and whatsoever, you don't need people or anybody else, insource or outsource, to handle that leftover work. Which means if the automatization of processes and the digitalization in sense of data management is done properly, there are less and less needs for somebody to work out the rest of the actually finish the work of dispersing the product. And in that case, the back office is mostly then shifting in the area of exception handling, meaning there will be, yes, less and less things that are not standardized, but the problem is, this last 1% of standardization usually costs a lot to standardize absolutely everything. So there will always be areas where standardization probably doesn't pay off, and you need people who have the experience and the skill actually to work those exception out. However, this is then not anymore something you can really outsource, because this is not simple manual work which you can put on the scale, but you need very skilled people for handling those very rare exceptions in the working processes.
That's a very interesting point, because it should be like that. But actually, if you would be observing the financial statements when banks are showing their cost structure and cost dynamics, the only savings in the banking industry comes from cutting the branch number and actually decreasing the number of salespeople in the branches, which is mainly connected to some clients shifting from this kind of model into more, I would say, self-service, mobile banking, etc. model. If you take back offices, despite millions of investments, leaning, everything, etc., back office are okay, employment is growing, costs are growing. You might be exception, but actually I can bet my money, blind my eyes. I take any financial statements of any bank in Europe 5 years, and I will see growth of the employment and growth of the average salary, and growth of the cost of the back office, despite all of this investment. So if these exemptions grow, they grow so fast that they consume everything that you get on the. I don't know how it works, because I'm not a specialist on it. I can tell you from the top, this result that back office costs are going down, you are here. I know you can. It's a really major reduction of the cost of the back office over the last 5 years. I never seen. Yeah. Okay,
no,
so tell us.
Look, no, I said we don't have it, but I have the explanation for that. I mean, we are not doing the automatization properly. Simple as that. For me, this is the indication that the things are not done properly, because obviously there is still the equal or more actually residual work to be done to work out the products, disbursement of the money and whatsoever. So this is for me the indicator that automatization and digitalization is simply not done properly. Otherwise, we will only have exceptions.
Thank you very much. It seems that the topic of what should stay in the bank and what should be serviced or managed outside on the bank is really something to dig deeper and to get much more understanding of which way to go. Okay, so we discussed the client and the employee, the digital and the human, retail and corporate. So let's sum up and have a quick look at the future. And the question is, if you can share your view on technologies that would be trending in the banking in the next 5 years, and if not technologies, then strategies, approaches, what do you think that will actually direct the banking industry growth in the next 5 years?
I do believe, based on the experience, that whatever technology comes, banks will try to absorb it, because banks are traditionally looking for a silver bullet for everything. So they will try to use whatever comes. I mean, I don't think that there is a silver bullet there. How the future looks like, I mean, it's difficult to say. I do believe that typical banking in which we are selling products and services will shrink. I mean, people will still need current accounts, people will still need loans or whatsoever. But I do believe that banks should look more into direction of the embedded banking and topics which we have covered, because in my opinion, banking is necessarily, I will not quote Bill Gates here, it's necessarily, we need, banking services whatsoever. I would just, rephrase him and say banking is boring, and it is supposed to be like that. Nobody wants to bank by default unless they have to, right? Nobody wakes up in the morning and say, I want a loan and I want to owe money to a bank next 20 years. Yeah? That's not nobody's dream. Yeah? But we dream about houses, cars, whatsoever. And sometimes we don't have money, and this is where banks are coming in. And as long as banks can embed their services where and when clients need money to acquire what they really dream about, this is where banks will prosper. I think it will be less and less chances when people are really knocking on the door of the banking because they really need something. I guess they would mostly knock if something goes wrong or they need the assistance with something, and that's pretty much it.
If you ask me what's going to be the most trendy, it's going to be AI, because it's going to be trendy everywhere. It's like, I'm a banker, so when people meet me, say from technology, for example, I met a couple of years ago guys with Google and said, "Yeah, you are from banking. Explain us one thing." It's like, we never seen so many conferences on technology in any industry, and so many people being interested in technology. And we never seen industry that is like outcome of technology is so small. So like, how come you are so interested and you have so many smart people and you spend like tons of money and nothing is there? Yeah. So we will follow the trends. We love to follow the trends. We'll go for conferences, and AI is going to be name of the game. You have all discussion. Is it going to kill us? Is it going to be matrix? It's like really lots of things going to be sexy there to discuss. If I would say about the most impactful technology that you will absorb over the last 5 years, it's going to be the migration to the cloud. And what is the reason for that? Not even banking. European banking is last standing Mohican that actually is not doing it. Even telcos are doing it. US banks are doing it. It's practically, we are the only last reserve of the guys being on premise, and even regulators. We spoke to some regulators from other countries. They also start to understand like it's impossible to keep the cost, but also especially security, IT security on the standalone basis. Small bank or average bank will not be capable to stand the bill for cyber security. Yeah, so they have to go to cloud to share the cost within the sharing economy. Yeah, the big banks can wait a little bit longer, but the rest cannot. UK tax office moved to the Google Cloud because they couldn't stand the cost of cybersecurity. And they were hacked like, with all of these Russian guys paying taxes, not paying. They were hacked like hell. And they did it only for one reason. Like they said, sorry, like we don't trust our people on social or cybersecurity anymore. We cannot stand the cost. We go there not because of any reason. Like we have no choice. Like we never spend as much as Google spent on their IT security. So cloud migration, I think you will go. Especially the smaller you are, the more you will go because everybody is there. Like practically only European, not even insurance, European insurance, or a little bit more advanced than the banking. And like flirting with technology, I think AI is so like, I know you tried chat GPT. Is anybody like, don't try to just talk to, if you don't do, it's like, it's so much fun.
Let me just a little bit add on this, especially because we are living currently the time where I would say artificial intelligence is hype, and how we can get it closer to reality and some applications. So the things what are happening, we are bombed with various applications which are in the background having the same algorithm but a different marketing points. And yes, how we can restrain actually, and how we can dig deeper, how we can implement and use is to understand first what is the trustful source of artificial intelligence. Then we heard that for the banks we cannot work with something that we don't understand. How we can understand something, we will create the communities, also trustful communities, which are working on the topic and which are actually feeding you with trustful information. Currently, everything is around us with many different applications, and everybody wants to catch the money in a short period of time. And this is not something what we can apply. But I am seeing the topic very positive, and I think there is a many applications and use cases. I will just mention two. One could be that your notifications from front-end applications are tailor-made for your customers based on the artificial intelligence. The second one could be that you, during your risk assessment, you are also utilizing and making the data analysis and all this advanced analytics. And this will actually support and contribute how you can integrate artificial intelligence in your world. But this is my view. As I said, there is still, I'm an everyday user of artificial intelligence. Last night I applied and tried some free to create, based on the text, some pictures. So it's amazing how development is growing. And yes, I believe it will be an integral part also of the banking industry, not just banking, but the life per se.
I just want to add that yes, it's still room for improvement for the digitalization in banking, and the banks have to must have the balance between the artificial intelligence, because this is the future, yes, and artificial intelligence and the real intelligence, because this is
What I actually would like only to join you is like banks will stay with human intelligence, because like we more need how do you call it, emotional intelligence that was going to be provided. It's like that's what our clients are missing. That's why they don't want to interfere with machines, and we are also 100% secure from the artificial intelligence. If you have organization that cannot like outsource and the payroll outside, because we cannot trust the big companies with the personal data of our employees. Imagine you will ever allow your employees to share and feed information into the AI engines to get the answer on front desk, on risk. Like I bet that all the banks will ban access and prohibit access to all AI tools If they don't do this at the moment, they will do this within 12 or 24 months or maximum 3 years.
So maybe it's the moment now to look at what AI predicted on what will be the trends, what will be trending regarding banking technology in the next 5 years, and see how close AI was to you, the experts.
So just to comment, because I think in the winter edition, based on the votes of the participants, the cybersecurity was on the first place. So I think also based on the artificial intelligence, it's quite high. For me, I will repeat once more that we built the trust with our customers, and we make the profit based on this value, and we have to really invest, especially if we are changing cybersecurity, then open banking and APIs. We heard also the presentations, how it goes. Yes, there is a lot of work to do, especially that we exchange real-time data with our customers on a regular basis. But for me, nothing is surprising. Everything is more or less expected. The new things are coming, and this is good. Let's as Davor said, do the silver bullets and try how it can change and move the direction of our industry. Thank you.
And actually, it's a very politically correct animal. So it said like there's lots of technology that can bring profits to the banks, unless the available data that they have till September 2021 doesn't show that much impact over the last 10 years.
Okay, so thank you very much for the very dynamic and insightful panel. So I think at the end regarding AI, it's at all the other trending technology, it's up to the experts to decide if they adopt it and how to play on them. So there's bright future ahead and a lot of tasks to do to grow and to develop and to create a new reality for the next 5 or 10 years. Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure.